I remember at one point being in the hospital and there was this resident who I saw at 5 in the morning and then again at 8 at night. And he had told me a few days earlier that he had dogs. And I said, oh, how was your dog today? I'm sure you've been home to walk him. And he said, oh no, I've been here for 15 hours. And I was like, really? You have? He was like, yeah, I got people like you to take care of.
As physicians or future physicians, we often tell our patients to exercise, to eat well, to take care of your emotional and mental well-being.
We miss out on a lot of other things. We miss out on being people.
Mental health in medical students is a big issue right now. I kind of was very resistant to engaging in dance in any way, shape, or form. But as a medical student, we often put those things aside in order to get done what we have to get done, and we're often not practicing what we preach. I mean, so much of med school is focused on achievement, grades, board scores. So often, all these other endeavors or things that make us who we are, we often push to the side in order to do what is expected of us as medical students. But if it's not going great and you don't have these other things that can kind of like pull you back down to earth, it can really disrupt your well-being, your sense of self. You can become depressed.
If we stop, encouraging people to strengthen those assets that they have, then we're all going to regress to being the same type of person, and it's our patients who are going to suffer. Kisses like sweet wine.
I think my identity as a swimmer definitely will carry over to my confidence, my leadership, my ability to perform under pressure as a physician. And I hope that my patients know that I was a very competitive athlete. I would like to go to a doctor that was a competitive athlete because I would feel like they would understand a lot of what I was going through. I think in a lot of ways, training to be a professional swimmer really has helped me deal with traumatic situations because I've done so much training to be calm and in control and trust my training and perform at a competition like the games where there's 15,000 people, and it's something that I had never done before. So kind of preparing for that unknown and having the confidence that you will be fine in that unknown transfers beautifully over to making decisions in the ER in stressful situations. And I feel like I'm able to be very clear-headed under pressure and definitively make decisions.
Come down again, I won't come down again.
I think I would be a totally different person if I hadn't danced. Well, I started teaching the Zumba class through Active Minds about halfway through my first year. I'm really glad that I did because it gave not only myself, but I think the other people who came, it gave us all a chance to kind of not only move around and get some physical exercise and feel good, but we also got to come together and talk about what we were going through. Maybe one of us had a particularly bad day, or we had a bad practice test, or something was not going our way. And we were all going through it, so we could all kind of relate and help each other through a tough time. So I think that was one of the biggest moments where I think my background in dance really helped me through a tough time, and I hope it helped a few others too.
The feeling this intense, I thought it'd never end. There's a couple of things that growing up music really instilled in me. One was discipline. If you want to be good at anything, you need to practice and practice and practice. Connection was another. So through music, I connected with my family, my parents, who are from a different generation than I am. And I would say a third thing would be that music instilled in me just an ability to express myself. It's emotional, and it's also a little bit physiological. It's that release of the tension, of the stress. It's sort of that when I'm singing and when I'm propelling that emotion out from me, it's sort of cathartic.
What wellness means to me is being balanced in your physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, and intellectual health.
Everybody has something about them that makes them unique, and that's going to make them a different kind of doctor.
Your mental health or your emotional well-being can suffer if you're not kind of cultivating other parts of your life and remembering that you're a dynamic person and you're not just one identity. You have many.
I've been constantly inspired by people in our class and classes above and below us who find themselves passionate about something, and they are not willing to let it go because it's part of them, it defines them, and it's something that will make them a better doctor.
It's intricately linked to your wellness. I mean, there's really no other way to say it.
We have this Monday afternoon group, Monday at 4 o'clock, and I know that as part of my week, we're going to all meet up at the Jefferson Pool and have a little workout. And it's very grounding to have that part of exercise scheduled because part of the stress that exercise does in sight for me is, when am I going to do it?
When one of your identities becomes strained or something becomes difficult, you can kind of lean on these other identities that you've had, these other parts of yourself that you've invested in, and remind yourself, well, hey, but I'm still good at this, or I still have this, and this brings me joy, even though this thing over here is not going as well.
When I was training, recovery was very important. You have to recover in order to be ready to hit that next training session, and I think that's something that has helped me kind of, I won't say completely avoid burnout, but when I feel a little burnout, I know that I need to take some recovery. And I think a lot of med students, that thought never crosses their mind.
Being able to build in some kind of time for students to reconnect with those parts of their lives that they had before medical school, or even if they want to cultivate a new interest or a new hobby.
It just has to be something that you consciously do.
I've really set that as a challenge to myself, to be present when I'm swimming and not block everything else out, but just let it flow. Really prioritizing that complete break is something that I've carried over from swimming. I think I really disengage more than a lot of people and don't look at anything for 3 hours while I'm in the pool. Whereas for some people during an exam week, that thought is incomprehensible. But I know that I will be able to go back and have a more productive session after that.
If it were not for the students being such a huge proponent of humanities here, or being self-advocates in that sense, I don't know if it would be as strong here as it is now. People say medicine is an art and a science. Well, this is the art part of it, the connection with people. And, in order to get to the end goal of healing someone, you really have to have both. And I think that that's something that a lot of schools are starting to catch up on, a lot of medical schools placing more importance on the humanities. And it's not necessarily, solely for the purpose of, so that we, have breaks so that we don't get burnout as physicians. Absolutely true. But it's also to remind us that the people we're treating are actual people, and that you cannot be a successful doctor unless you understand that. working out the details.